Syukur untuk setiap rencanamu dan rancanganmu yang mulia. Dalam satu tubuh kami bersatu menjadi duta kerajaanmu. Ku ucapkan berkat atas Malaysia, biar kemuliaan Tuhan akan nyata. Bagi bangsa ini kami berdiri dan membawa doa kami kepadamu. Sesuatu yang besar pasti terjadi dan mengubahkan negeri kami. Hanya nama-Mu Tuhan ditinggikan atas seluruh bumi. Kami rindu melihat Malaysia pulih dari semua kesukaran, hidup dalam jalan kebenaran-Mu, pancarkan terang kemuliaan-Mu. Ku ucapkan berkat atas Malaysia, biar kemuliaan Tuhan akan nyata. Bagi bangsa ini kami berdiri dan membawa doa kami kepadamu. Sesuatu yang besar pasti terjadi dan mengubahkan negeri kami. Hanya nama-Mu Tuhan ditinggikan atas seluruh bumi. Kami tahu hati-Mu,
Merdeka! Merdeka! Merdeka!
Welcome, dear viewers and listeners, to another edition on World Religions, presented by none other than AMEIA, Archdiocesan Ministry of Ecumenical and Interreligious Affairs, in collaboration with Catholic Podcast. AMEIA stands to establish greater understanding and harmony among all. And tonight, we have another two knowledgeable guests to speak on Taoism. Hope you're all geared up for another interesting evening with a cup of drink by your side. You better. Before we come to know the speakers for the evening, I have the pleasure to introduce the moderator for this evening's session, Reverend Father Michael Chua, who is both the parish priest of Jesus Caritas Kepong and the Chancellor of the Archdiocese of Kuala Lumpur. After the Archbishop, he is the first person to know and report of any news in the Archdiocese. So beware. He is very important. He was one of my predecessors at AMEIA and a keen enthusiast himself at religions and has been invited to a number of forums to share on the same. And now over to Father Michael Chua.
Thank you, Father Xavier. It's a pleasure to be here, and not sure whether I'm able to live up to the expectations of people that if they want to know any secrets, they come to me.
Sure.
Sometimes I may be the last person to know. Anyway, I have the great pleasure today of introducing our two distinguished speakers from the Taoist religion, and both of them, you can address them as Dao Zhang or Dao Zhang. All right, which is a description both of their office as Taoist priests as well as an honorific address. For example, in Chinese, as a priest is described as Shenfu and also addressed as Shenfu. So for them, Dao Zhang means both the Taoist priest as well as the title, which you would use to address them as you would address as Catholic priest as father. Okay, so I will introduce the first speaker on our panel, who is Dao Zhang Tan Ho Chiao. Good evening,
Hello.
Dao Zhang Tan. All right.
Good
Dao
evening, how
Zhang
are
Tan
you?
and I have a long history, yeah? And then we also have Dao Zhang Tong Wei Tai. Okay, a little bit about Dao Zhang Tan. We've been in several committees together for a number of years, and so he's a familiar face. In fact, he's considered to be a pioneer in terms of an advocate of bringing Taoism to the forefront in Malaysia. In the past, the Malaysian Consultative Council of the non-Muslim religions, Hinduism, Christianity, Buddhism, and Sikhism, in Chinese, they were known as the Council of the Four Religions. Dao Zhang Tan changed that, all right, in the year 2006 by bringing greater recognition from the national government in terms of the Taoist religion as a distinct religion apart from Buddhism. You know, one of the things in terms of Malaysia is we all tend to identify both, first of all, with race and then with religion. And most people will automatically just type in, you know, you type in Chinese, automatically you type in Buddhist. Although most likely the majority would have been Taoists rather than Buddhism. And it was Tao Zhang Tan that actually brought greater awareness to this, being the pioneer in terms of setting up a federation of the Taoist associations, and also allowing the federation to be included into one of the religions represented by the MCCBHST. So now it's no longer the Council of Four Religions. Now it's known as the Council of Five Religions, and we have Tao Zhang Tan to thank for that. He's the president, of course, of the Federation of Taoist Associations of Malaysia. I understand they have 500 members, not counting the auxiliary members, the ones who are individuals. These are basically temples and associations in themselves. He's also a vice president of the MCCBHST, at the national level, and also a member of the Harmony group, which is basically a consultative group under the Ministry of National Unity. So being representing both the Taoists as well as the MCC BHST. Our other distinguished speaker is Dao Zhang Tong Wing Tai, who is a practicing architect apart from being a Taoist priest. So, you know, some people may be thinking that, like in the case of Catholic priests, we do not have any other work. Our main work is basically to lead in worship and things like that. So Tao Zhang Tang is very versatile. He's a speaker, a coach, a scholar in metaphysics, feng shui, Taoism, and I think that's it's in sync with basically his profession as an architect. He's also the vice president of the Federation of Taoist Associations of Malaysia. Also the vice chairman of the Penang branch of the MCC BHST. So the MCC BHST is considered is a body that is both found at the national level as well as the state branches. So he's the vice chairman at the Penang State Branch. He's also the chairman of the Penang Taoist Sancheng Temple, and I believe that they are now currently building their temple. Okay, maybe he could share a little bit about that later. All right. So, without further ado, maybe we would launch straight into our first question, which is directed at Tao Zhang Tan. And we would like to know a little bit more about some basic beliefs of Taoism. You know, we're going to go into more detailed questions later, but maybe just a general overview of Taoism, apart from the kind of popular notions that people have of Taoism, which usually we see in the movies and martial art movies and things like that, you know. And so we have here with us today a Taoist priest, the president of the federation itself, to give us a kind of an explanation, and maybe to also explain the Taoist concept of God. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Father Michael Chua. Yes, we've known each other for a long time. Thank you for the compliments, but actually, the person who brings the Taoism into MCCBCHSC is not myself. Rather, I was a Sekjen then. It was my Sifu, or rather the president of FTM at that moment. There's Dao Zhang Tato B.S. Tan. Well, nonetheless, we are happy that we are now in one big family. And just to update, I'm now the deputy president. We just had our AGM and we had an election. Okay, just to update. So I'm most happy to be able to join you here in Understanding World Religion. It's a fantastic program. And in Taoism really needs introduction. Because as was mentioned by Father Michael Chua just now, most of us, rather most of the Chinese do not know, and they can't differentiate the difference between Buddhism and Taoism. Now, Taoism is the only religion originated from China, and it's a very old religion. It's about 5,000 years old. So because of that, some people can't even tell the difference. What is Taoism and what is Buddhism? Especially when you go to movies, what you see in a movie is something totally. It's a mix of everything. You have Taoism, you have Buddhism, everything jumbled together. So as far as Malay is concerned, they only thought that Chinese religion is Buddhism and not Taoism. So I like to let you know that Taoism started in China during the Huangdi era. Huangdi means Yellow Emperor, and that is 2,697 years before Christ BC. Meaning to say, this year, according to our Taoist calendar, is 4,718. So philosophical Taoism, there's a difference between Taoism and philosophical Taoism. It's founded by Lord Lao Tzu 2,600 years ago. That is about 600 years before Christ. And Lao Tzu is also called Tai Sang Lao Jin or Tao De Tian Zhun. It's one of the three clarity, or we call it three pure ones. In Chinese, San Qing Tao Zhu. So religious Taoism. Now we come to religious Taoism. Religious Taoism will involve the ceremonial, writing of the talisman, Fu Fa. And then this is founded by Zhang Daoling or Zhang Tianshi. Tianshi means celestial master. So and his surname is Zhang. So Zhang Tianshi. That's about more than 1,900 years ago. And in none other than Longwushan Tianshi Fu. That's in Jiangxi. So according to the most important Taoist scriptures, and that's the Tao Te Ching, it's a compilation of scriptures and revelation of Tao by Lord Lao Tzu. Now, I just like to let you have a better understanding of what is Taoism by reading out this chapter 1 of the Tao Te Ching. The Tao that can be talked about is not the true Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. Everything in the universe comes out of nothing. Now, nothing with a capital N. So, nothing, the nameless, is the beginning, while heaven, the mother, is the creatrix of all things. Follow the nothingness of the Tao, and you can be like it, not needing anything, seeing the wonder and the root of everything. So, and even goes to say that, and if you cannot grasp this nothingness, you can still see something of the Tao in everything. That is the meaning of Tao, and that's what you call Taoism, no? But the word Taoism, by that chapter 1, you see that Tao has got no name. Tao has got no form. Ta Tao Wu Ming, Ta Tao Wu Xing. Right. And this, if I were to read from the scripture, tells me that Tao will be the creator. It's nothing, but it is the creatrix of everything. So I just add one more chapter, chapter 42. This one is a very simple one, but the meaning is very deep. The Tao gives birth to the One. The One gives birth to the Two. The Two give birth to the Three. And the Three give birth to every living thing. All things are held in yin and carry the yang. And they are held together in the qi of teeming energy. So Tao here, it shows that it's the creator, right? And it has got no form, but it's the cosmic energy that forms Tao, right? And it's not even a name, because Tao in Mandarin means Tao Lu. It's a way, so it's a path. So the Tao manifests into the three clarities San Qing Tao Zhu. So when we Taoists pray, we pray to our God San Qing. It's like we are praying to Tao. That's the way the Taoists practice their religion. And of course, Taoists, we have a pantheon of gods and deities. We have actually got 36 levels of rims of heaven, 10 rims of hell. And of course, the highest of the rim of heaven will be the Sanjing, Yes Tian Zhong, Ling Bao Tian Zhong, Tao De Tian Zhong, and followed by uh, Zhang Tianshi, Zhang Tianshi, and then Xuan Tuan Dadi, the two main schools in Taoism. And of course, the one that's very some that most of us will know or heard of is Tian Gong, Yi Wang Dadi. Yi Wang means Jade Emperor. So Taoist God are always named as Emperor. Yi Wang Dadi, Xuan Tian Dadi. Okay, so basically, besides that, they are I mentioned about the pension of gods and deities in the Taoist schools of gods and deities. They're actually a very big number. So I am not able to go into all that in details.
Quite sure. Yeah, I'm quite sure that. Yeah, maybe in terms of its application with regards to our own lives, I understand that there are four basic principles of Taoism. Maybe you could just elaborate a little bit on this, Tao Zhang Tan.
Okay, sure. Now, basically, there are four principles of Taoism. There's the harmonious action, the oneness, and you have the dynamic balance, and the cyclical growth. Now, harmonious action, we will just put it this way: Wu Wei. Wu Wei in Mandarin means non-action. Wu Wei, but in Taoism is Wu Wei Wei, not doing anything but is doing something. So you have to dig into your mind and try to understand what is actually this Wu Wei. This is often represented as being the withdrawal of the Taoists from the world with all its temptation and illusions. It is a response to the false path which the material world is taking. Wu Wei, Wei, I just mentioned just now, doing by not doing or non-action, and not taking credit for doing and how to run the world without acting from false interest. Now, chapter 57 from the Tao Te Ching again, I quote, I take no action, and the people are reformed. I enjoy peace, and the people become honest. I do nothing, and the people return to the good and the simple life. So Tao actually, in our way of saying, is Tao Fa Zhi Ran. That means Tao happens naturally. So everything happens naturally, yeah, and they come in line with nature. That's the main basic of Taoism. Now the other one will be oneness. Now I mentioned now Tao. Tao is not even a name. It's just a way, a path. Right? So I say that the great Tao has got no form and has got no name. It's the one that is eternal, natural, spontaneous. Tao is the primordial of cosmic energy. I mentioned about what is Tao. It's actually a cosmic energy, and we call it Qi. And it's made of the yin and the yang. So the Tao is the ultimate source of all, the origin before origin, and the uncreated, which creates everything. So the ultimate aim of a Taoist is to attain this oneness. That is to achieve immortality. This is the ultimate of a Taoist. That is to say, to achieve immortality, that is to achieve sainthood. In our language, to become a Zhen Ren, we are now not Zhen Ren. We are men, but we are not the real men. So to be a real man, you become a saint. So that is immortality in Taoism. So when you do that, we can go through a withdrawal from the trappings of the material world, the
Yeah.
cultivation of oneself. 啊，我们要修行。
Yeah.
Yeah, by
Daojang,
me and
Daojang,
yeah.
yeah, you have been mentioning quite a bit about these principles and the basic beliefs. Maybe you could ask Daojang Tong about the holy book that you have been referring to all this while. Where are references made from? Daojang Tong, maybe I can direct this question to you. Where are these references from? Maybe you could just share with
Yeah.
us, Daojang.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, we have a holy book. The holy book is the Tao Te Ching, okay? Tao Te Ching in Chinese, but I quite like the translation of the title as the way and its power. Okay, this is a book of, we call it a holy book of Bible. It's the origin and the center of our Taoism's ideology. It's one of the greatest masterpiece in our Chinese history, and is recognized as the king of all the scriptures. It guides us as a Taoist on our thoughts, our actions, and the spiritual cultivation. It guides us for our spiritual way of living in harmony with the Tao, the universe. According to the statistic of UNESCO, other than Bible, Tao Te Ching is the most popular cultural masterpiece, which has been translated into foreign language. 2,500 years ago, about there, Lord Lao Tzu, was the head of the royal library of the Zhao dynasty. Then he resigned, and then he want to go up the country, want to left the country of the Zhou dynasty because of the continual war. He traveled to the west, reached a place, is a checkpoint called Han Gu Guan, and stopped by an officer. It is called Guan Yizhi, his first disciple, and then from there he left the 5,000 words of the Tao Te Ching. Only 5,000 words. Is actually is a compact of a kind of a philosophical knowledge. And Tao Te Ching mainly we discuss Tao and Te. Okay, what is Tao and then what is Te? So altogether is 81 chapters. The Tao, like Tao Zhang Dan said, is very hard to define. In the chapter 1, it cannot be described. They say cannot be described, cannot be the name cannot be spoken, but is sometimes understood as the way of a universe. It's the law of a universe, way of a nature, way of individual practice, way of cultivating the Tao. And then I would like to quote one of my favorite phrase or the poem in the Tao Te Ching. I think this helps me a lot. I think if I share with the audience, I believe they will get the knowledge and the philosophy behind. It says, the supreme good is like water, which benefits all creation without trying to compete with it. It gathers in unpopular places, the water. Thus, it is like Tao. This is from chapter 8. In view of this, is related to the personality, our personality in Tao Te Ching. It promotes us like water to benefit all things without fighting, and competing. If you can achieve the character like water, you are the highest good person, water. Okay, because water is good for all things without fighting. You can feel water. We use water every day, but we don't know the good of the water. Like a fish in the water, the fish don't feel the water. Okay, the importance of the water. Wherever the river flows, it will be an oasis, so all the plants grow. Wherever the water flows, is full of life. You see all the capitals, even Kuala Lumpur, Shanghai, all built beside the water. In other words, water is very willing to give courtesy to you, but it never fights for its own interest. On the other hand, the river flows without contention, but objectively, they also get reward from other things. Each tree is a storage, for example. The water go to the trees. Whenever it's large vegetarian, it will be rain frequently, and after its moisture is evaporated by the sky and the sun. What happens when it rains? Then the river will not dry, and it go back to the earth. This is a cycle. Therefore, Lao Tzu say that the saint or we as a Taoist never accumulates any wealth to do good for others and to give things to others. The more you will be, just like water. Okay,
All
this
right.
is
Thank you.
what I
Thank
want
you.
to
That's
share.
beautiful. Yeah. I'm reminded with the English expression "go with the flow." I think basically, both our Tao Zhang have already stated how Taoism is really about learning to go with the flow, of learning to live together with harmony, with other people, with nature, with life itself. There's this book by Edward Bono, Water Logic, and I think he would have taken a great deal of inspiration from these Taoist principles. Now I'm going to move on back to Tao Zhang Tan. Um, we've been speaking on a very philosophical way, and I think, but the general population's experience of Taoism isn't that. Their first encounter with Taoism is very much to do with the rituals and the rites and the temples. Those are the things they see. You see, so today we encounter a different side of Taoism, which is very profound and deep. So maybe you could say something about the rituals and the ceremonies
Yeah,
in
okay.
Taoism.
Yeah. There's the philosophical Taoism and the religious Taoism I mentioned earlier. See? So we have give you a talk all on the philosophical part of it. Now the Taoist practice is simple, and the Taoist practice varies from country to country, even within country, from clan to clan. For example, there are so many Taoists, but then Hokkien, they are Cantonese, they are Teochew, they are the other clans, and each of the clan will have their own different practices. But generally, Taoists they do their prayer just by offering 3 joss sticks, and they can pray from their home. All Taoists in their home will have an altar whereby their gods are there, and then they can pray to their gods. Now, why three joystick? Now, 3 joystick it represents Sanqing. Just like I said, the 3 clarities. Or it also represent heaven, earth, and man. That's why it's always 3. So, depending on the type of but you see, in a house, normally what they do is they will offer their prayers, and the smoke from the joysticks is actually carrying whatever is in their prayer, or whatever they pray for, or whatever they wish for. So it's like a modern day telegram or fax machine. But that was a few thousand years ago. That's how they invented this joystick. So the significance of that is important. Otherwise, people wouldn't know. And of course, the size of the joystick is not important. So sometimes we find that some temples they have joystick that are 18 feet tall or even taller. That is not encouraged. That is not in our teaching. I don't know why. Maybe the guy got a lot of money. He want to show that he prays more or whatever. But it's the sincerity from your heart, and whatever you want to speak to your God. That's the meaning of that joystick.
Yeah, speaking of these practices, maybe I'll ask Dao Shang Tong. Speaking of these practices, how about meditation? Meditation seems to be playing an important role in Taoism, I guess. Some practiced that are in various temples. Maybe you can share a little bit on meditation itself, Dao Shang Tong.
Yes. For Taoist meditations, focus on the Taoist theory of cultivation of both the spirit and the physical body. Taoist meditation's major objectives are returning to the ultimate source or the Tao. Okay. Secondly, embracing the concept of unity of man and heaven. We have roughly we have two categories in the meditation. First is a ritual meditation, and then the secondly is a Neidan meditation, which is, or we can call it internal alchemy. Both are quite complicated, not easy. As a Taoist, I think not easy, but there are some simple ways. Maybe I share you the most complicated way first. Ritual meditation in the religion of Taoism, leading by the Zhenyi sects. We are under the Zhenyi sects. Is important and then way to communicate between human, heaven, gods, and ghosts. In order to achieve the purpose of this is to praying for disasters relief, gathering blessing and auspiciousness, protecting the peace, release soul from hell. So the Taoist ritual is complex that includes appearance, that means the exterior, and the internal secrets. The appearance or the exterior parts includes chanting, singing praises with the Chinese orchestra, walking the emptiness, and then kneeling and so forth. Participants at the dojo can witness and appreciate the performance. The internal, but now we come to the internal secret skills or the cultivation of longevity and health preservation incorporated into the Tao rituals. Among them are, for example, visualizations, shape keeping. In Chinese, we say 保形, shape refining, 练形, breathing energy, 实气, breathing meditation, drawing talisman, teaching, and stepping gun. So I share with you pick two and share with you how it related to the meditation and the health and the cultivation. 6 qi jue or the 6 sounds is actually used in the practice of rituals. It's a method of breathing technique, but it closely connected to our 12 meridians in our body, or the organ as a human body, and is an internal refining health method. Pitching, we pitch our hand like closely, also is connected to our 12 meridians by pitching certain parts of finger, like here. This is connected to the kidney. So it's a 子穴 connection to the kidney. It actually promotes the flow, stimulate all the organs to the flow of the qi. So by doing the ritual, we cultivate ourselves at the same time. So we use the power of our own spirit and visualization to mobilize the qi, the gods inside the body, to achieve the unity of the heaven and man. The Taoist own internal cultivation must reach a certain level in order to practice ritual according to our Bible. And then we come to the Neidan, internal alchemy. This is quite mysterious. Many Taoist meditation techniques derive from Neidan meditation. Complicated, but it can be learned. But you have to have a master before you learn that. First is a visualization meditation. You can imagine or visualize the qi, or we call it the god in our body. There are many gods in our body. Each organ has its own gods, the small capital gods. And then come to the secondly, the breathing techniques, breathing meditation. First, natural breathing. Natural breathing, we are focusing on the inhalation and exhalation breathing patterns. Then it should be slow, deep, and fine. Then actually it will be coming down if you practice this. Then the other one is the reverse breathing. Reverse breathing is the opposite of the natural breathing, which inhale deeply, and then contracting your abdomen, and then letting the air draft into your upper chest. And as you exhale, then your push your abdomen out. So it's a reverse. Then another quite interesting technique is the embryonic breathing. It's imagine you are in the womb of your mother. You haven't been born out, okay? Without breathing. Stop breathing. Our Taoists have a lot of this technique, like, without your imagination. We have a fasting, we can go for many days. 7 days, 21 days, 49 days, without eating, just drink water. We go reverse, in the reverse way. 反者道之动, we go in the reverse way. We don't eat, but we as a way of cultivation. We don't sleep as a way of cultivation. And then we actually don't breathe as a way of cultivation. It doesn't means that you hold your breath, but it stops naturally when you can up to a level. It no longer become a way of the breathing, but in fact, we just breathe with our skin. We breathe with our skin. So this is a unique way of cultivation. And then we have inner observation or vision, visualizing inside the mind, body, and organs. Observe the thoughts coming and go. And then we have another called emptiness meditation. Emptiness meditation is good for those who have a high blood pressure. And actually, you just use your thoughts, use your visualization to scan your body and listen to the breath. Then you will come down very quickly. And then we have also the movement meditation. Just now, all are sitting meditation. Now is the movement meditation. Movement meditation is to bolster the mind, body, and spirit, to creating a balance between the internal and external energies. Like 八段锦, the 8 pieces of brocade, the 5 animals exercise, standing power or squatting, stomach rubbing, and crapping the acupuncture points. Like, here you can crap. Then it's good for your heart. It can be very good for your health also. And then lastly, we have a sleeping meditation. You see, the real Taoists, they are very hardworking. Even sleep, they also doing cultivation. Sleeping, there is a way of sleeping, but without wasting your time, because you sleep either 6 hours to 7 hours. The 6-7 hours is very important for cultivation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm just amazed at the number of types of meditation that you have and how holistic it's basically not just merely the spiritual side of it, but also the body, health, and everything else. Now, I would like to address the next question to Bao Zhang Tan with regards to initiation into Taoism. I think that there are 2 levels that maybe we would be interested to know. Is there any kind of a process in which, if you're not a Taoist, you want to become a Taoist? That's one level. And then maybe also in terms of how do you become a Tao Zhang? All right. Is there some, for priests, we have a ordination and things like that. So one level is for a normal person who's not a Taoist. Like, for example, Father Xavier, one day he decides he wants to become a Taoist. Is there a method in which he can become a Taoist? Do you need to go through something like baptism for Christians? Is there something like that in Taoism? And then how do you become a Tao Zhang? How do you become a Taoist priest?
Yeah, thank you, Father Michael. And I welcome Father Xavier with open hands. Anyway, just joking. Right. Now, there's difference between a worshipper, a believer, and a Taoist itself. Because anyone who believe in the worship system, the God system, the belief system of Taoism can pray. They can go to temple, they can pray in their house, and basically it's very simple. You just connect between yourself and God. Now, but to become a Taoist, you will have to go through an initiation ceremony. We call it Kui in Taoism, it's actually called Gui Zhong Chuan Du. Gui Zhong, that means subscribe to the central. Gui Zhong Chuan Du, to pass on the teaching. Chuan Du. So normally after this ceremony, you have to have a master. Just like this Tao Zhang Tong is my disciple. So all must have a disciple. I have a master, and Tao Zhang Biesan is my master. So Biesan is Tong's grandmaster. So that's the procedure. So the Kui process ceremony is quite elaborate. It takes at least half a day, and you learn a lot of prayers and we call it the incantations and the ceremony itself, whereby the names and particulars will be sent to heaven to register this person as a Taoist, right? And he'll be given a certificate say that he's a Taoist and the date and the time and things like that. So that is the certificate. And now that is for just Kui to become a Taoist. Now, if you want to go further, you want to learn more about this Taoism and the practices, you have to go to this China, Jiangxi Longhu Shan, Tao Jiao Xie. That's where the Zhang Tianshi, the home of the Zhang Celestial Masters, and this is where the more elaborate ceremony of Chuan Du, Gui Zhong Chuan, no, of this Shou Lu. Shou Lu, that means you'll be accepted as a priest, ordained priest by the main temple. And we are here, I still refer to Zhen Yi Pai, Zhen Yi, the school of the Zhen Yi, which is under Zhang Daoling, or Celestial Master Zhang Tianshi. So this one you need to be, if you are to become a Taoist, first Gui Yi, and you have to be after 3 years. Now once you Gui Yi as a Taoist, you have to follow the precepts. When you Gui Yi, you assign yourself to obey or to follow your life to the 9 precepts, right? The period can be quite long, so I will not go to every of the precepts, right? So after that, you have to practice as Taoist for at least 3 years. After 3 years, then through the recommendation of your master or your sifu, then he will recommend you to Long Wu San. Long Wu San means dragon, tiger mountain. Long Wu San, yeah. So down there, they will go through all your credentials, and then once accepted, you will be tried. There's a test, Plus, also there will be a teaching on the ceremonial aspect of Taoism, how to become a Taoist priest. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. For the viewers, when Tao Zhang Tan speaks about Taoists, it's not just speaking about worshippers who pray to the. It's talking about being a Tao Zhang, isn't it? It's about being a Taoist priest. I think in the West, that would be the common term that they would use for Tao Zhang. Here in Chinese-speaking countries, it is Tao Zhang, but Taoist is what the West would describe them. Okay, we can move to the next question, and I would like to address Tao Zhang Tong on this. You mentioned that both of you belong to the Zheng Yi Pai, all right, to the school of Zheng Yi, and under the Zhang Celestial Master. So how many sects are there? And what are the main sects?
Yeah, there are many. I think the two main sects is Zheng Yi Pai and Quan Zhen Pai, Quan Zhen School. Okay, if we categorize in a different way, according to the academic theory, okay, there are 5 schools. First is the Ji San Pai, accumulating goodness, Ji San Pai, and then the second is the classicism. The focus major in our Bible and those are classics. Okay, the third one is the talisman. Okay, and in the talisman, under the talisman. But if actually we study all, although it's 5, we study all. Like me, I major in talisman, and then I major in inner alchemy. Inner alchemy is just now we we talk about is a kind of a meditation. Then another school is a divination. I'm also in the divination. Divination, it includes the fortune telling, the 八字 and purple star, feng shui, and then some divination method like Emperor Wen Wang Gua. This is the 占验派. In fact, 5 of these are also very interested in this five of the school. Spend a lot of time, but I think we combine these 5 and then we can make something special. And then by region is we can have a Longmen school. I only mention those I familiar or those I under the lineage. Okay, Longmen school and the Wudang school. Okay, I learned from the Longmen also. And then we can classify under the historical Taoist master. Okay, first Li Dongping. This is what I mentioned is I also learned from this lineage. Wu Liu Pai, Wu Chongxu and Liu Huayang. And then we can classify by the practices like Hunyan Pai, Tai Sang Lao Jun, the Hunyan school, Wu Dang Pai, Zhen Wu Da Di, Quan Zhen, just now I mentioned is Quan Zhen sect, Zhen Yi sect, okay? Then we can go to another division or we can separate into 4 division or lineages. Just now we mentioned comes again the Zhen Yi sects, the Quan Zhen sects, and Ling Bao. And then the 4th one is Qing Wei. Then there are many sects now declining actually. And then the surviving one, famous one, include, of course, the Zhen Yi, the Quan Zhen school, Mao San, Lao San, Wudang, Lü San, and then some in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Southeast Asia like Malaysia. There's some folks. Okay, folks is different. Folks Taoist. I also under the folks Taoist is called Liu Ren, because we have to learn this and then you know what is the pro and cons or advantages or their strength. We learn from the strength. Okay, then we combine to be used for us to settle daily problems. Anything you can become a consultant like me. I am the consultant using the Ziwei Dousu as a consultation. Maybe we can be better than those psychology specialists. Maybe only. What is our advantage? We can foresee their future. We can foresee we can see the past. For those okay, my experience, those who I actually for one example, this guy want to suicide is very down, the emotion very down already. Then I read his chart, so I give him hopes. The person is going to suicide because they can't see hope, they can't see light. So for us, we give them some light. It's true light. You cannot bluff them. From the chart, we have to translate the chart and then we let them know. Then they turn, then transform. This is good things about you learn more on this. Taoist, we encourage people to learn a lot.
Daojang Tong, very interesting. There's so many branches of knowledge that you can acquire from your Taoist different sects that you have. Speaking about all these, how about the Taoist view on death? This is something which every religion will speak about. But what is this view? I address this to Daojang Tong again. How do you view death in the Taoist from a Taoist perspective, and life after death, whether it's reincarnation, or how do you perceive that? Maybe you could share a little bit on that, Daojang Tong.
Yes, this is a very interesting topic. I think everybody, you go into the religion, you cannot avoid this topic, right? Okay, Taoism. For Taoism, we regard life is the great virtue of heaven and earth to us, and then takes life as the happiness. We celebrate life. Life is special for us, and then therefore our teaching, we go to a direction which pursue longevity, so that as far as we can live how long, or even we have the concept of immortal. and then we have the fairyland, we have the paradise or pure land. But in reality, after a person is born, he get a ticket, or he get a pass to death. This is everybody's get a ticket, whether you sooner or later. Okay, so our grandmaster Ge Hong, in Taoism, the grandmaster, he said life is like you are bringing a ship, you're being led to a market for slaughter, step by step, closer to the death. But the birth and the old age, the sickness and death are the root of all the suffering. So how to solve this problem? So for us, the Taoists, if you want to get rid of this life and death problem, you have to cultivate the Tao, sublimate the level of humanity, reborn. Reborn means that not reincarnation. Reborn to us is to refine oneself and change totally, completely, and then become enlightened. I think this all religion, they want to become enlightened. A person who attains to the Tao, like my master said, Tao Zhang Dan said, is a 真人. We are not 假人, but we are 人 only. We are the human. But a real person has no lifespan, no life or death. He's a eternal existence with the Tao. How to understand that? I give you an example. You can imagine. If you are if Tao is the sea, ocean, we shall become a drop of water. We can be immortal when we blend into the sea. We come to this world for our life. My life or our life cannot be regained if we are lost. Then we cannot be resurrected if you die. So Taoism emphasize on the human body is compared to heaven and the earth. The human is the small and tiny universe, 小宇宙. The human body is a small world. Then in line with the law of the nature, the law of Tao, the idea of immortality is naturally established. Taoism belief is that the humans, gods, and the universe are the same system. So we are the small one. We are the small world. So we have everything we have. The heaven, the universe, what they have also inside our body. So how is Taoism view reincarnation? The reincarnation is not in our vocabulary, but we have our point of view on this reincarnation. It's quite different. Taoism belief says that we believe you have 三魂七魄, 3 spiritual and 7 physical souls. This is 三魂七魄. A normal person who can have life is alive when his soul is united with all this 三魂七魄. Okay, the reason why a person die is that the 3 spiritual and the 7 physical souls cannot get together. They disperse. Then after dispersing, the person's life is lost. Taoism has some cultivation method which is to make people's soul become inseparable, or to keep our life achieve longevity. In fact, for some of the master, the great master who can truly cultivate it, if he can achieve the stage of the enlightened, his life can be reincarnated. Actually, the right word is transform. Transform 100%, and his spirit and the aura can be maintained forever. However, ordinary people cannot do that without practicing and cultivation. After the soul are dispersed, a person of life is reborn. They will never go back to the past original soul. This is our standpoint. Yes, if you say there's a new life or the future life, but for us, that is different. The element inside the soul is different. The life will be no longer the same. So the life in this time, our folks tells may say, in Chinese maybe Meng Po Tang. Whether Father Michael have heard about it? Meng Po Tang. After you drink, you forgot everything. You are not the
soup of
original memory.
forgetfulness. The soup
Yeah.
of forgetfulness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's because of our soul has been separated. Just like dew drops on the grass. Then it disappear when it after the sun for 1 or 2 hours it disappear. So how is the life go? When a person the soul is scattered, it will be recombined with other scattered souls. This is our belief. But this
Yeah.
is Taoist view of reincarnation is not 100% reincarnation. So therefore, for each person is born, is not passed on alone. So human is a continuation. It's a very complicated. You know the New Age. Now some philosophy or some teaching is a New Age. They regard everyone as old soul. Old, very old soul. You are not new. You're born, but you are old, very old soul. So the afterlife is not reliable to us. Not reliable. What is the most reliable is this world, this life. We need to hold it well. This is your own life. Everyone has only 100 years or less than 100 years. Many. This is reality. Life.
In other words,
Yeah.
it's right now, live right now, and that is more important than afterwards. If you live it right, it will determine afterwards in your next life or something like that. Yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting your approach and your understanding of it. Maybe Dao Zhang, I will just address this question again to you. There are a lot of prohibitions in all faiths. Maybe you could share a little bit about some prohibitions that you have in your in Taoist faith. With regards to food, and are Taoists encouraged to be vegetarians? Because in some sects probably, or is it generally encouraged to have vegetarian food? And what are some of the prohibitions that could be there in your
Your question is those Taoists not allowed to do prohibition, right?
yeah, prohibitions with
Yeah,
regards
yeah.
to food? Some
We
food that you abstain, or you are
Mhm.
that you are abstain from taking, anything like that?
Prohibition. Okay, on food.
Yeah.
We have there's a saying nothing Chinese do not eat. Everything we can eat. Chinese okay, for us Taoists we have four not to eat with some reason behind. Okay, first is dog. Why dog? Because they are loyal to guarding the gates of mankind, guarding your dog, guarding your family. So another animal we don't eat is a cow. Cow is doing good job for your field, the rice field. So there are some meaning behind. So
Oh.
why we don't eat? Another is mullet fish. In Chinese called wu yu. The mullet fish actually the nature of the mullet fish is that it honoring the elders in your family, filial piety. During the spawning period, the mother is likely blind. It cannot hunt for food. Starving till dies. When it give birth, it become blind, cannot see anything. So the baby swims into the mother's mouth to sacrifice his life to feed the mother. That is we don't eat. So the meaning behind, okay, the meaning behind is the teaching also. The fourth one is the wild goose. Wild goose, what is the good? Why we don't eat the wild goose? It's because it become couple when the wild goose they go in one group, right? When they become couple, they will be wholeheartedly for the whole life. And then when the female lay eggs, when the enemy attack, the male will fight back. Or when the partner die, the survivor, the single one, will be single for the whole life. So we don't eat. These four animals, there are certain common things. They are spiritual animals to us. They are very high spiritual animal. And then we on top of this, we don't eat fuel because This few, I think we all don't eat, but Chinese, they eat. Okay, first is a fox, also very spiritual. Fox is a very spiritual animal. Fox, hedgehog, snake and mouse. And then some others quite it is our pets, cat we cannot eat, we don't eat cat. All these are turtle, and then some fish. Okay, these all are the common, they are spiritual animal. So Taoism have a tradition of promoting the vegetarian, okay, since ancient times. I believe the vegetarian, actually the first who started is Taoism, or the culture in China. The Quantum sects, actually their spirit, they mostly they are vegetarian in diet, while the Zhenyi is more lenient. They can maybe take vegetarian on the first and the 15th of lunar month, or during the we call it puja, or the fasting day. Those who eat fasting, actually the good is to cleanse the body, mind, and cleanse away the evil. Like me, I practice Taoist fasting. I go for Taoist fasting for 7 days in Wudang, the Mount of Wudang. Then I come back. I think I changed quite a lot in terms of body and soul. 7 days. Then after that I practice 21 days, just drinking water. Then I feel that the level of my spirit is a lot different compared to the normal days.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Tao Zhang Tong. And back to Tao Zhang Tan, with regards to, going to look at this whole topic of symbols, right? Every religion would have its own particular symbols with meaning behind it. If you go to a Taoist temple, I think the first thing that we see beyond the images of the pantheon of gods, we also see other images like dragons and lions. But there is perhaps the most significant symbol of Taoism, which we have even on this page here. People often call it the yin yang is the Tai Chi Tu. Right. So could you maybe explain a little bit about this kind of symbolism and what does it mean?
Okay. I explain first from its names. Okay. What is Tai? Tai, in fact, is the beginning, the endless, no beginning and no end. Tai. Okay. Time is no beginning and no end, right? And the universe as well is endless. Ji is the highest. Highest is the Ji. So combined, the Tai Chi is everything exists, moving, changing, rotates, and develop into Tai Chi. Tai Chi diagram reveals the origin of the universe and life. You see the Tai Chi diagram, you imagine there's a diagram in on the side. Which side? Father Savior? Okay. There are two fishes. There are two fishes. Imagine two fishes, black and white, be in the whirlpool. Okay. They are quite unite. But one big head and the small tail. Can you see? It's good. You have the symbol there. I no need to prepare the diagram. Okay. The big head and the small tail. Okay. What is it means? Is indicating the birth, growth, and destruction. The death of things. The energy. Okay. The white is a yang. The black is a yin. The top one. Okay. If we refer to our time, our 4 seasons, the top one is the noon or the summer. The yang, the most bigger portion of yang appeals. Okay, but at the same time, there's a dot, the eye of the fish, the white fish, black dot. The yin appeal. You see, you can see the top, the small tail of the black fish coming. So from the noon, okay, 12 o'clock, the noon, the sun become to set. Okay, it goes down. Go down until the bottom. Bottom is in 4 season is autumn. Is the winter. In our daytime is the midnight. Midnight the yin become the biggest portion. When it turn around, okay, the white tail coming in. This is become the what you call that, the yang, yang shen, the yang it produced. So is the Tai Chi is our body. Okay, if you want to set up work very late at night, then you are disorder compared to the Tai Chi. You are not in the balance yin yang. Then in future your health is going to have problem. So we have to follow the Tai Chi. The Tai Chi have many meanings. Therefore, we have another thing is the black dot in white and the yin and yang. Okay, the fish have a black white fish have a black dot. Is actually the yang embrace the yin. It means myself, we have the yin and yang balance, but it's a dynamic balance. We are not the rigid balance. We are dynamic balance. We change from time to time, but if we are balanced, we are in a dynamic balance. For example, your wife and husband and wife. Husband male is yang, wife is female is yin. The how it balance? If you want to say, okay, the income of the husband and wife, maybe husband earn more, but wife earn less. Is this not balanced? No, this is balanced. In terms of yin yang, in terms of Tai Chi, is balanced. The lady take care of your family, your children. You go and become like old days is a hunter. They go and fight, and then come back. You have a comfortable home. That is the meaning of balance, dynamic balance of yin and yang. A lot of people that equal is not yin yang. That's why become the two face. If not, we better just cut it half. One black, one side black, and one side white. That is balance, right? That is the most balance. But no, the diagram tells us that is not the balance. The balance have to be dynamic, have to be according to time, have to change according to time. And then the edge of the circle, in fact, is a wuji. And then the structure and the movement of everything in the universe, it reveals circular. All the energy is circular. You see, universe, all the energy circular. And then it's based on the rotation. All the energy is moving, is rotate. And then the symmetry, the overall structure of the Tai Chi diagram is balanced and symmetrical, balanced and stable. So if you have the balanced and stable body in yin and yang, so if you go to the Chinese physician, they will see your yin yang whether it's balanced or not. If not balanced, I give you medicine or herbs to align back your yin and yang. That is the most profound. It can be used in Chinese medicine. Both yin and yang are respectively independent, but they opposite, but even at the same time unified. And then two sides hold each other in balance. They don't separate. In Chinese medicine, if this yin and yang separate, you are dying. Because we are alive, our yin and yang is whole together. We are not separating. Once the yang is more or yin is more, then it's imbalance, then a lot of disease will happen to your body.
It's a question of balance, Dao Shang Tong. It's a question of balance, I think, in that whole process. It's a question of balance of the whole living out that faith and all that practices, I suppose. I think that's what you're trying to say. Yeah, it's a very interesting concept that you have brought out. Very interesting. Actually, there's so much lying in that too simple itself. So many things, so deep. Thank you so much. We would like to hear more from that, but we don't have much time to really delve on that. Thank you so very much. Maybe I'd like to address this next question to Daojang Tan Ho Chiu. Maybe you could explain a little bit about the important festivals that we have celebrated in Malaysia, Taoist festivals. I think that is something will be of interest to our audience, our viewers also. So maybe Daochang.
Okay, I think time is running out. We are already 9:16. Actually, when Dao Tong talking about the four animals that we don't eat, when he said wild goose is not wild goose, it's actually
Mandarin duck.
red-crested crane. This, and they always in
Oh.
pair. If one dies, so you eat one, the other will grieve. They're so lovely, they'll die. You see? They'll grieve and then they'll die. So that's for that purpose we do not eat this red-crested crane. Now back to you were asking about festival. Of course, the most important festival is none other than Taoist Day. And what is Taoist Day? Taoist Day is the celebration of the birthday of Lao Tzu, and it falls on the 15th day of the second lunar calendar. So we actually, Federation of Taoists Association, applied and requested the Malaysian government to recognize this day as a public holiday. Because we have public holiday for all the major festival of all religion. The Buddhists have their Vesak Day, and Christians have their Christmas Day. Of course, the Muslims have so many, I don't know how to say, and the other religion, Hinduism and all. But except for Taoists, Taoists do not have a Taoist Day public holiday. So besides that, of course, there are so many other, there are so many gods and deities. So every gods and deities will have their birthday, and every birthday is a celebration in Taoism, right? So, but just to have a few, Chinese New Year is the first lunar day of the first lunar month, but it's also the birthday of Yin Si Tian Chun, one of the three clarity. And then, of course, more popular is the Tiangong, because everybody knows about Tiangong, the Jade Emperor. That is on the 9th day. And for the Chinese, especially here in Malaysia, when you have a lot of Hokkien, the 9th day, which is the 8th night, is more, what do you call it? The celebration greater than the first day, the Chinese New Year. Right? And then, of course, then you have the 15th day. 15th day is the Chap Gome in Teochew, but 15th day is the actually the birthday of Ti Wang Ta Ti. That means the first celebration of the year. You have you have the first, middle, and the last. So Tian Guan Ta Ti, Ti Guan Ta Ti, and Sui Guan Ta Ti, the three major one. Right. Then of course there are so many other celebration that I would not won't have the time to explain here. But popular in Malaysia will be the Jiu Wang Ta Ti, Nine Emperor God. That's in the month of the 9th lunar calendar, first to the 9th day. And this is where all the devotees will be vegetarian, and for the whole 9 days. There's more popular ones in Malaysia. I think time is we are in time, running out of time, right?
Okay, thank you so much. And I will come to the last question actually, and it's a question relevant to us in Malaysia because we are multi-religious, multicultural. So to Tao Chang Tan, how does Taoism? What can Taoism contribute? How does Taoism view other religions?
The pro and cons of Taoism is that Taoism is so free, relaxed. It's just a teaching that we tell you, this is Taoism, this is how you pray, and this is what you know about Taoism. Actually, Taoism, we have to seek the knowledge. Knowledge is not given to you. Like Thousand Tong have to go to China, and then you go to Wudang San and all that. We have to go and seek the knowledge. It's between you and God. Whether you want to pray or you don't want to pray, we don't have hard and fast rule. Of course, you pray once in the morning, once in the evening. Right? But whether you pray or not, we don't tie you down, right? So it's a very free religion. But the con is that our believers slowly also, sometimes they change to other religion because they are too free, too free. Maybe we should have make some adjustment so that it's more scheduled type, like you have every Sunday, there's a Sunday mass and things like that. As far as, because we are so free, and then as a Taoist, you can also pray to Buddhists, you can also pray to Lord Buddha. We also don't say that there's a prohibition, no. So our relation as a Taoist with other religion is normally no problem at all. So interfaith understanding, interfaith dialogue, interfaith activities is very open for the Taoists. That's the way the Taoists here in the world, not just in Malaysia, operates.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you to both the Tao Zhang for your wonderful sharings. I'd like to turn the floor back to Father Xavier. Father Xavier?
Okay, thank you, Father Michael, for that wonderful ending to this whole session. I think I would like to congratulate all of you viewers for having followed us all through this day, this evening, for the last almost 2 hours. It's been very nice of you. Don't forget, next 2 weeks, we have two more interesting conversations to come on. So please come back and join us in the same session next week, same time. And not to forget, I would like to thank AMEIA for having hosted this program in collaboration with Catholic Podcast, Alexander Johnson in the backhand, and Father Michael Chia for moderating this event this evening so beautifully. And our two special guests, Dao Zhang Tan Ho Chiu and Dao Zhang Tong Weng Tai. So we are very indebted to you for this sharing. Father Michael would definitely agree with me that they have shared quite in depth. We don't have time to we don't have enough time to go on to everything. But what is the gist of it has been shared with us, and I think I've learned a lot. I'm sure Father Michael would agree with me for that to that. You know, so I will hand over to Father Michael and the two Dao Zhang. Maybe we could conclude with a little prayer of unity and for all that we have discussed. It is not so much a question of learning more alone, but also to be able to understand and appreciate and respect one another. That is our objective of this whole program. So with that, we will conclude with a little prayer together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Father Xavier, for this invitation, and I believe that I have benefited greatly from the sharings of both our Tao Zhang. So maybe we could invite Tao Zhang Tang to give us an invocation to close this.
Okay. Linh lăng trần xiang sư phăng sư khang su ching hai hai chính mô san ai san ye thun yen wan linh ai wan linh chân phu chào chi ai chào chi xin xiên thiên ai thiên vũ phân huy ti ai ti vũ yao trần minh huy ai minh huy tung chính ta liang ai ta liang xuan xuan ye chang jing ai chang jing chang jing tian zun. Pray to Sanqing Tao Zu for the continued peace in the world and for the interfaith exchanges that we are experiencing here in Malaysia. And we hope that all religion and believers of religion can come together, can be united, and works towards peace and harmony. Tao Zu Shi Pei, Tao the Ben.
Okay, thank you, Tao Zhang Tan. And I will close with the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi, the prayer of peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So
Thank you, Father.
blessings be upon you, Tao Zhang, Tong,
Father.
Thank
and
you.
Tan.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Father.
Father Xavier.
Thank you for the Michael.
Thank you, Father Xavier.
Thank
Thank you, Father Michael.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
See you all soon.
Okay, till we meet
See
again.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
for
Bye.
viewers. Take care, viewers. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Okay.
See you.